Let's take a walk, not down memory lane, but down a timeline, a pattern, a greatest hits album nobody asked for and nobody should be proud of. Because with Donald Trump, racism isn't an accident. It's not a gaffe. It's not the he said the quiet part out loud thing. No, it's a lifestyle brand. And the product, fear and division. A fresh new villain every season for the discerning racist, delivered in a shiny new box on the doorsteps of the Bigotry of the Month Club, also known as MAGA. And by the way, if you're MAGA, you might not consider yourself racist, but by the end of this, I hope you'll at least realize that you support one. Act 1, the family business. Our story begins in the 1970s, back when a young Donald Trump was still wearing suits one size too big and calling himself a real estate genius, even though Dad was still footing the bills. The Department of Justice sued the Trump family business for discriminating against black renters, marking applications with a C for, and I'm not even kidding about this, colored, steering black families away, telling them units were unavailable when the only thing unavailable was basic humanity. He didn't build walls back then. He just built whites-only waiting lists. They settled the case with no admission of guilt and kept fucking going. Because this isn't a bug. This isn't a glitch in the Trump matrix. This is the operating system. OS 88. Act 2, the ads. Fast forward to 1989. 5 black and Latino teenagers are accused of a crime they didn't even commit. And Donald Trump, private citizen, amateur vigilante, and full-time attention-starved fuckface, buys front-page ads demanding the death penalty for children. Children who turned out to be innocent, by the way. And even after the DNA evidence exonerated them, he never apologized. Not once, not never. To this day. Because in his world, being wrong isn't the sin. The sin is admitting you were wrong, which is a tactic he learned from Roy Cohn, but that's another story for another time. Act 3, the entertainer. In the 90s and 2000s, the pattern keeps going. Former employees say black staff were removed from casino floors when Trump showed up. Because nothing ruins a high roller's mood like having to acknowledge the reality that people exist on this planet that don't look like you. He once allegedly said he didn't want black guys counting my money. Which is funny because if black people had been counting his money, maybe those casinos wouldn't have gone bankrupt. Act 4. Birtherism, America's dumbest saga. Enter Barack Obama, the first black president. And Donald Trump took one look and decided, nope, no way. Too good, too smart, too competent. Must be illegal. He became the nation's #1 birther, peddling a conspiracy that was basically, if he's black and powerful, he must not really be American. It wasn't political strategy back then. It was simply identity politics for racists. So they can all get together and pat each other on the back for their own exclusivity. Act 5, the presidency. Now with more xenophobia. Cue 2016. The Apprentice theme plays, the lights dim, and suddenly this man becomes president. His first big policy? A Muslim ban, which he later called a travel ban after lawyers explained the Constitution to him like he was a toddler trying to stick a fork in an electrical outlet. Then he shifted to immigrants. But not the fun kind, the ones he hires to mow his golf courses. Oh no, the other ones, the brown ones, the black ones. The ones fleeing war and persecution, just like you and I would do. Shithole countries, remember that? Because the racism didn't take a day off. It got a corner office. Act 6, paper towels and performances. Then came Hurricane Maria. Puerto Rico devastated. People homeless, hungry, thirsty. And Donald Trump shows up like he was at a pep rally and threw paper towel rolls at survivors. Overhand. Like they were prizes at a county fair booth. Like human beings in crisis were supposed to catch their relief like they were competing on fucking Double Dare. And by the way, if you get that reference, it's time for your colonoscopy. Anyways, nothing says, I see you as an equal citizen, like literally tossing the fucking quicker picker-upper at people who've just lost everything. Act 7, dinner with Nick Fuentes. Then there's 2022, Trump hosting white supremacist Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago. A man who is openly anti-Semitic, openly racist, openly everything you're not supposed to be unless you're trying to get banned from every social platform simultaneously. But more importantly to Trump at the time, openly loyal to MAGA. Trump's excuse? I didn't know who he was. Sir, dude, my guy, you were the president of the United States. You had the nuclear codes, and you can't Google your dinner guests? At some point, I didn't know stops being a defense and starts being a confession. Act 8, Haitians, Springfield, cats and dogs. You remember this one? 2023. He tells a crowd that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio are bringing diseases, that people's pets are disappearing, like some racist Scooby-Doo plotline. No evidence, just xenophobia, marinated in paranoia, served with a side of fear. Act 9, Somalis in Ilan Omar. And now, here we are. It's the year of our fucking Lord 2025. And he calls Somali immigrants garbage. Says their countries stink. Insults Ilan Omar, a sitting member of Congress, because nothing triggers an insecure man like a successful woman who's escaped more hardship than he's ever had to imagine. Tells her to go back to her country? This is her country, you bloviated shit stain. Maybe it shouldn't be your country. If a melting pot of race, religion, multiculturalism, self-expression, and identity isn't your thing, then I've got rough news for you. This might not be your country. He talks about entire communities like they're pests, like they're invaders, like they're objects, not people. You notice the pattern yet? Because it's the same story, new target, from colored renters to black teens, to immigrants, to Muslims, to Haitians, to Somalis, to whoever's next on the list. Racism, but make it episodic. Act 10, the mirror. And here's where I get blunt. You don't have to be a neo-Nazi to vote for Donald Trump. You don't have to hate black people or immigrants or Muslims or anyone else. But if you voted for him, you voted for everything he said about them. Everything he did to them. Everything he took from them. Everything he's trying to take from them. You may not be a neo-Nazi, but you voted like one. You voted like someone who shrugged at racism because you liked the tax cuts. You voted like someone who heard garbage and thought, well, he has a point. You voted like someone who looked away. And history has never been kind to people who looked away. And now you have to carry that and try to live with yourself. Act 11, the finale. So no, Donald Trump doesn't become racist. He doesn't slip up. He doesn't misspeak. He refreshes it, updates it, rebrands it for the news cycle. Because racism is the oldest tool in the authoritarian toolbox. And he knows how to swing it. It's up to us to break the pattern, to refuse to be the audience for the next season of this show, to say, not anymore, not again, not in our name. And I might sound naive when I say this, but God damn it, I still believe in us.